Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to take a look at the hot-blooded God of Destruction, Phy Beerus. I have him at 79%, which is 2 dupes, and we're going to take a look at how good his EZA is. Now right off the bat, he is an Exploding Rage or Realm of the Gods lead of 170%. On his super attack, he raises attack and causes immense damage to the enemy, whilst greatly lowering attack and defense. He has attack of 50% and defense of 200%, and he has 150% attack when performing a super attack. He gets attack and defense of 150% within the same turn after receiving an attack, and he gets damage received reduction of 40% with 3 or more key spheres obtained, and reduces damage received by 30% before attacking with 7 or more key spheres obtained, which is pretty good. He raises or randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres, and his attacks are effective against all types when there's a Realm of the Gods category enemy. His active skill gives him attack and defense of 50%, attacks effective against all types, and guaranteed to hit for 1 turn, and can be activated when his HP is 70% or less. Beerus is pretty good. I think a big thing about him is consistency of orbs. So the 40% damage reduction being locked behind 3 key spheres I think is more than fine. Ultimately it means that he sits at a pretty good position and a really solid kind of defensive stance. Then of course, if you can get these 7, he then has 70% damage reduction before super attack, which is pretty good, especially considering that that is his most vulnerable state. Remember, when he gets hit, his attack and defense of 150% is multiplicative. So essentially his defense goes to 650% after being hit, and his attack goes to 500%, which is really good. There's a very big difference between the Beerus that has been hit and the Beerus that has not been hit, and it's very plain to see. One does 5-6 million attack stats, the other one does 11 million attack stats. It's just pretty plain to see that he wants to get hit, which means he wants to be in the first slot, which means he wants orbs, because you want orbs so that he is indestructible. Now his link skills, Godly Power, Prodigies, Connoisseur, the Innocent, Shocking Speed, Berserker, and Fierce Battle are all pretty good. Godly Power is crit chance, Prodigies is pretty straightforward, Connoisseur is nice because of defense and health recovery, Innocence is good attack, Shocking Speed is his main key link, Berserker is okay-ish, and Fierce Battle is pretty good. His categories of Realm of the Gods, Movie Bosses, Siblings Bond, Worthy Rivals, Bond of Master and Disciple, Exploding Rage, Space Traveling Wars, Planetary Destruction, Legendary Existence, Battle of Fate is all pretty good. Overall, he's really solid, and in the turn when he launches his active skill, he can become pretty insane. I actually think his EZA is pretty good. I think the one thing that you need to work around or acknowledge is his requirement for orbs. His performance against Realm of the Gods enemies is notably better, purely through the fact that he can easily obtain 7 orbs than situations where he's not facing Realm of the Gods enemies. It's not that he all of a sudden becomes bad, it's just more that he all of a sudden loses a little bit of what makes him so special. And it's that kind of gives him a little bit of a headache. Of course though, the 40% damage reduction and his start of turn defense is usually enough to get him through most situations, and he is definitely a very viable, very interesting pick for a lot of content. I think for me overall, he's definitely a unit that you can consider using in a variety of content to basically kind of push this really good, like, strong position that he has, at least, from my side. I think overall he's really nice. His biggest issue is basically the consistency of the orbs that he can get. As long as you can remain consistent in the amount of orbs that you can get, and you can crack that 7 orb mark, he looks really good. It's like interesting because he attack wise kind of has switched. For me, he's switched in design. Before, he was a unit that did a lot of damage, but like, his defense wasn't so great until he got hit. Now he's in the space where he's kind of like really good defensively if you get the orbs, but if he doesn't get hit, then he doesn't do huge damage, which is quite interesting. It's not a train smash. I think they've done well with his design personally. I think it will Your main issue will be finding what team to run him on. I think, like, if I look at the teams, you know, strategically speaking, his best kind of teams are Realm of the Gods and maybe movie bosses. Not really. Exploding Rage, also debatable. Realistically, Realm of the Gods is like where he functions. Of course, you can run him as a floater, I think, on most teams. I think there's really not a big issue with running him as a floater on many teams. And I think what he does the best is he facilitates Battle of Fate quite well. So I'm quite happy with that. And his overall performance. Really, really good stuff. And yeah, link-wise, Connoisseur, Shocking Speed. You want to focus on Shocking Speed a little bit because he does need key. But overall, I think he's really, really good. Connoisseur, Fierce Battle. All of these are really strong normal links. Connoisseur being a bit niche, but you can get it with quite a few Whis and Beerus units. Outside of that, you know, if you focus on Fierce Battle, Godly Power, and Shocking Speed, you should eventually come right with him as a unit. You don't need to expand too far outside your safe zone with him as a unit. I think for the most part you should be fine. Realistically speaking, it's not a huge train smash to miss out a couple of his links. The majority of his power comes from orb changing and from like his actual functionality. So yeah, definitely something to consider. I think overall a really, really cool unit, and I think he has some definite power plays. He can be really good in a lot of situations, so it's going to be interesting to see just how good he is. But yeah, for me, a really, really good unit. Very interesting unit in design. And yeah, honestly, really nice. Really, really nice, I think, overall for me. But yeah, that's basically going to be it. Honestly speaking, really good stuff. Really, really happy with his performance. Definitely worth link leveling. And we'll just have to see where he goes from here. I think he could be a really, really top tier choice for a lot of people, especially if you have Strength, Beerus, and Whis. They're a really fun combo to run together. But that's going to be it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys in the next one. Till then, take care, stay safe, and as always, thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.